Hey, here we go on episode 48 of the Trash Talk Business Podcast. Some of us are ready, some of us aren't, but you know what? We're going to get right into it. If you are in the junk removal, hauling, load it up, get it on down the road space, you've come to the right place. We're here to talk about how to grow, scale, get out of the junk removal dream. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, my compadre, the recent winner of the Super Bowl, my favorite team's most hated team, lost, so I feel like a winner. Casey, Bubba Lawrence, how are you feeling today?
Now I'm fucking confused, but you know what? I'm doing pretty good.
Here's the deal.
Great weekend.
Right.
Apparently there was a football game on last night.
Oh, my God. You wanted the Chiefs to win only because you wanted the Eagles to lose. That's it, right? You're
interesting. I didn't know this, but apparently the Chiefs were a Texas team. The quarterback's from Texas. The owners of the Chiefs are from Texas. I don't know, so much Texas, it was just unbearable. And I'm like, now I understand that. Like, I see all these posts like Cowboys lost, but did Texas lose? Well, no, we just won through Kansas City.
Which seems like the only way you're going to win. So
exactly.
That's fine. It is a stretch. It is a stretch to call the Kansas City Chiefs a Texas team.
Yeah, but the cool thing is today we have a guest. All right,
we do have a guest today.
He hails from Georgia in the Atlanta area in a metro. I guess you could say a sub metro area of Atlanta, Kennesaw. Right? Did I say that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, his name's Taylor Chastain with a company called Up and Away Junk Removal. We actually met this guy at JUNKCON. Stood out like a sore thumb because he wouldn't shut up, but he had a really cool name. And now we have him on this podcast. Taylor, how the hell are you?
I'm great, man. I'm happy to be able to work. I'm happy to be able to talk to you guys. Everything's going great.
Awesome. So, real quick, the actually more like 35 seconds before we started this podcast, we kind of got a game plan together of what we're going to talk about. And one of the things was tracking numbers. Andy likes to get real twitchy when it comes to numbers. In fact, he actually bought a magazine called Numbers Boy. And that's what he gets his yayas off to because he loves numbers.
Here's the record. I get twitchy about a lot of things. I'll be honest.
A lot of things.
Yeah.
Numbers are one of them.
That's true. Numbers don't lie. Here's the problem.
Exactly.
Here's the problem. People are like, hey, I want to make some decisions, right? And then they look at a problem, they come up with a decision, and then they look at the numbers. So that's called confirmation bias. They're looking for numbers that support their argument. It's like writing a basic research paper. Instead, you need to slow down, do this magical thing called shut the fuck up, look at your numbers. What are your numbers telling you? Then you can start making some hypotheses and theories. Then you go back to your numbers and say, okay, if I do this, how will this impact the numbers? And then you make a decision based on the numbers. I talk about it being the foundation. There are times where you're like, hey, this doesn't make sense from a numbers perspective, but I got it in my gut. Let's go. Hell, entrepreneurship is that way. Right? If you're like, hey, do I want to make 6 figures and 2 weeks vacation and have a nice desk job and cushy life? Can't even say cushy because I ain't got one of those. Right? It doesn't make sense to get an entrepreneurship because the opposite is, hey, do you want to spend $100,000 and maybe make 50 your first year? Right? So the numbers don't always add up. It's a basis of your decision making. So it's not like I'm twitchy about numbers.
They just don't always tell the right thing. Right?
That's correct. They tell part of the story. They tell part of the story, not the whole story. And I trust my gut, and I trust other people's perspectives that have gone through some stuff.
But to stack on top of that, Andy, I'll tell you this right now. I want everybody to understand this. Trusting your gut is different than acting out of emotion. The reason why numbers are great, they don't lie. That's right. They're facts. You can work a problem down and get the answer. When emotion takes over, you start – it's like new math, right? It's like that new math that they teach in the schools, right? They kind of just added their own rules. Common Core.
What was that? Common Core. What a garbage thing that is.
If you want to sum up what the Biden administration looks like, do Common Core math. But I don't want to go down that road right now. But Common Core math, you're going to get emotional answers, right? That's exactly how you look at it. What do you feel like the answer is to this problem? Because God forbid we tell the right answer is not the answer you came up with. So when you look at your numbers, if you have emotion into it, well, a lot of times your numbers are going to veer off which way, either way this way. Hey, I really want to go this way, but the numbers don't say I can. So how do I tweak the numbers to make me go that way? Well, that's why you have to leave emotion out of your numbers. So the reason I actually learned this the hard way is I saw something I really wanted to invest in, and I was really hell-bound on it. I wanted to do it so bad. It was so badass. I could already think 10 years from now what it's going to be like. The problem was when I went with a buddy of mine who's a professional in this area, we went through the numbers. He said, hey, just to let you know, this is shit. This right here, you're going to lose your ass. You're going to actually bring more money just to get it, and you're going to start losing money the day you take over. And it broke my heart. I was like, damn it. But the numbers didn't add up.
What was that?
It was a business. It was another business. Yeah. And that's the thing is, right now, I guarantee a lot of these people out here immediately think my business is worth $1 million. I want to sell my company right now. The thing is, they don't know what a pro forma is. They don't know how to come up with an actual correct profit and loss statement. So when you go through those numbers, it's going to tell you the answer. Hey, your business isn't worth near as much as you think it is. Even though your emotions telling you, oh, I got customers everywhere. I'm always busy. I'm always doing this. But the numbers don't lie.
So I get into that with people because like I stay really well connected with a lot of the other haulers in my area, whether they're just this guy by himself all the way up to some pretty big companies in the area. Because the way I see it is like if you've got good relationships with people around you, you're gonna have more opportunities and you're gonna have more options when the big ones come. So like there's no way to lose the more people you know. But I've had guys approach me before and say, hey, I'm looking at getting out. I'd like to sell. I say, great. I need to see a P&L. I need to see any contracts you have. I need to see all this stuff. And I literally had one guy, he said, can I just send you my personal tax return? I was like, no. Like, that doesn't tell me actually anything about your business, really.
Yeah, unless you come with a business. Yeah, unless you come with a business, the personal tax return, your personal is your personal. Like, there's no weight in that.
He was like, well, I don't have a business tax return. I was like, then you don't have a business.
Then you don't have a business.
Right. And so, we have a lot of those conversations.
And tracking your numbers isn't always about money. Tracking your numbers is also about marketing. Where's your marketing efforts going? The reason why I actually wanted to ask you this, Taylor, is because when we were at the JUNKCON, you brought something to my attention that it's not that I didn't know about it. I just didn't really think about it or relate it to junk removal, really. And that was we immediately started talking about yard signs, right? Because we both use them. We both know the value in yard signs. But you also brought up, hey, I have different phone numbers for different things I market or how I market. That way, if they call on this number, it's from Facebook or a yard sign or whatever. And immediately, just because I haven't been exposed to this, I immediately was thinking like, holy headache, like to track that many effing phone numbers. But then you're like, no, it's part of this other software thing that kind of blah, blah, blah. So we went down that. So I would love for you to elaborate on that because that's something that was new to me as far as in junk removal.
Yeah. So call tracking numbers, the general idea of what it is you have several different phone numbers and you put a different phone number on every marketing place that you have or different contact, different ways that people contact you. They all have a different phone number. The reason is I want to know that my marketing spend is being effective, or I want to know, hey, we're getting a lot of calls off of our Google My Business listing and we don't even put that much work into it. Hey, that's a real freaking asset. Let's make sure that we don't let that lapse ever, So right now, I think we run between 15 and 17. I don't remember the latest, but we have 15 to 17 call tracking numbers that are different on everything. So the number on our truck is different from the number on our yard side, is different from the number on Google, is different from the number on Facebook. And the reason we do that is, like I said, to track everything. And it really is very simple. We use Worx as our CRM and they operate our phones too. And so all of the numbers ring the exact same set of people. So it rings my office manager first. So when she's on the clock, it rings her. And then if she's on the other line, it backs up to me. And then if it's nights and weekends, I'll answer, whatever.
Yeah.
But so for the customer experience, it's all exactly the same. For my office manager experience, it's all exactly the same. All it literally is $2 a month to pay for the line, and you have to know how to set up the initial route. And then what I can do on the back end is go and pull reports. And it'll automatically pull up when somebody certain number calls in. We know what ad source it came from. It automatically pulls that ad source into their job. And then we can see, we did 30 jobs from our Google LSA ads last month. We spent X amount on Google LSA. We earned this much from those jobs. Great. Let's see how that's doing for us.
Now, how does that work when you have emails or text messages that come in?
Text messages, it tracks the same way. The emails are just emails. You just kind of, at that point, you have to start asking. Right. And that's no big deal. My office manager and I, we've discussed a certain amount of unknowns that we're comfortable with, which is a very low number. And so we're always trying to get that number down.
Yeah. And see, that's really important because, I was used to kind of evolving in the qualifying process. Like when a phone rings, by the time I hang up that phone, right, I want to make sure that this is a customer of mine, not, oh, well, I just spent 10 minutes explaining what we do to someone who has no interest in working with us. But one of the main questions, right, was where did you hear about us, right? How did you find us, that kind of thing. And then I would even elaborate as in, oh, you went to Google. What did you Google? And then you start finding out, well, I actually Googled, attic clean out or whatever. And you start realizing, okay, these people may not be searching for junk removal. I remember, especially in the first year or two, hell, there was a lot of people that straight up said, I had no idea that there was a company that did this. And I know a lot of us are thinking like, well, what about the big blue? Well, yeah, but even they miss out on some opportunities. So it tells you the space, right? Like there's so much room for business in junk removal. And I just remember asking people, like, how'd you hear about us? Oh man, I saw your truck and it just stood out like a sore thumb. It's so badass. So then I had to Google and see what you're all about. So now that lead source is actually a truck lead, not Google. So I think it's very important. Well, go ahead, Andy.
No, what you said is important too, is especially with Google, when you have disqualified phone calls, right? They're looking for a junkyard. They're looking to scrap a vehicle. They're looking for a donation center. Or they're looking for the dump. Or we get a lot here, Department of Neighborhood Services in Milwaukee, where they're like, hey, my trash can hasn't got serviced in 2 weeks in an alley. So every time, what we'll say is, hey, what are you looking for? Do you remember what words you typed in? And we immediately put those into our negative keywords in Google. Because what it comes down to is you don't want your phone to ring 50 times as 25 of those people aren't qualified. So you also have to narrow down, right? And then also we get it sometimes. For a while, it was interesting. All of a sudden, we got a bunch of phone calls from this one area that we don't service. Well, it turns out there's a lady we did a job for down by us. And then she went up to where she lives, which is like an hour and a half away, and put it in a Facebook Marketplace group or next door or something, how great of an experience she had with us. So it's like, hey, thanks. Unfortunately, I need you to plug that down here and not up there. So that's the other thing. When you have a customer call you with an expectation of doing a job, you don't service that area, you've actually gone backwards now. You may or may not have paid for the click, right? That's the immediate burn. And then you'll get people like, oh, well, why don't you service my area? It's like, because you're an hour and a half away. Well, I heard really good things about you. And then all of a sudden you start going down this rabbit hole of there's not a true win-win.
Well, we saw a lot of
it's important to know who your customer is and who it isn't.
We saw a lot of it on the review side, just because we were a franchise, and we would notice that people would leave reviews on the wrong franchises, either Google profile or Facebook, or vice versa. Sometimes we would get a review, and it's like, it would name people that I'm like, yeah, they don't work here. This is a different company. So I think it's cool that there's different ways now to kind of track, and this is exactly what we're talking about, right? Tracking your numbers, because when it comes to marketing. I know, Taylor, you are very online present when it comes to marketing. But the one thing I can tell you that you also do that really, Andy and I both were like, yeah, that's awesome. You're also networking. You're also getting out there talking to people, which is huge. It's important. And I think the younger generation, and I mean, obviously excluding you, but the younger generation has starting to see, hey, online, and they're missing out about what this actual industry is all about. That's that personable interaction, right? Like people like to talk to the owner. I had a conversation today with a garage guy, good guy, Marine vet, good buddy of mine. And the biggest thing about our businesses was people always wanted to talk to the vet. They're like, hey, yeah, he's the owner, but you're also the vet. And I'm so happy to be working with you. So I leaned on that. I would say, hey, look, we are veteran owned. And if there was ever an estimate that was obviously needed my attention, I'd show up, and I would notice a lot of people would appreciate just talking to the veteran of the business, right?
Yeah, you're a pre-celebrity in their eyes, because that's what they want. Well, hell, I actually, total tangent. Last week I was in Vegas two of our listeners, Lenny's episode came out this week.
LinkedIn Lenny.
LinkedIn Lenny, if you haven't heard already about my boy LinkedIn Lenny.
No, I need to go watch that one.
So here's why it's funny we call him LinkedIn Lenny. He didn't know how to get a hold of us. So he created a LinkedIn account to find me on LinkedIn, to shoot me a message. And I'm like, dude, he's like, I love your podcast, blah, blah. I was like, you want to be on? He's like, dude, I don't know shit about nothing. I was like, it sounds good.
Perfect.
Right? Not knowing shit about nothing is that's a great place to start. Dude, we had an hour-long plus conversation, whatever, with LinkedIn Lenny. So now we call him LinkedIn Lenny because it's a good-ass name, and you don't get to choose your nickname. Anyways, I was in Vegas last week, and I told LinkedIn Lenny I was going to be there ahead of time. So we ended up catching up, getting lunch. I posted it on Facebook, right? Another one of our listeners hit me up, and he's like, hey, I want to meet up with you and have drinks with you. He's like, I'll fucking come, pick you up. So he ended up picking me up and giving me a ride to the place I had dinner reservations at later. And we ended up having a drink, and I was like, hey, what do you want to know? He's like, oh, nothing, dude. I just want to hang out with you. Right? But that's what it comes down to.
Nice.
He wasn't looking for anything. No, we ended up talking business and sharing some stories, no doubt. And he took me like this store. I was already going to that restaurant, but he ended up giving me a ride to this place called Cleaver. Shout out Cleaver. If you're in Vegas, one of the best meals I ever had. Decor. And Casey actually knew about it. Casey only been to Vegas one time, and he's like, I've done that. So he had a good meal there. The ambience is great. True service. Like, you go to Vegas because it's the entertainment capital of the world. There's a lot of places in Vegas you get shit service because whatever, it's a dime a dozen. Let me tell you something. That place was on point. Mike Goodwin's the name. Had a great hangout with him. So I hung out with two guys in the same market because I showed up. Yeah. And I was already at the conference, right? So he's gone junk in Las Vegas. What's interesting is he's a cop located in Henderson, which is south of Vegas. The other guy, LinkedIn Lenny, is a firefighter. So it's like they had these like two parallel tracks, don't even know each other, and somehow they both know me because we showed up. And Casey and I been talking. We're taking the show on the road to a certain extent. Taylor, we met you in person because you knew about us ahead of time. Yeah, because you sought us out.
Yeah, I'd listened to you guys a few times. I was like, I know they're going to be there, so I'm going to go talk to them. And when I sat down at your table, we hit it off.
Dude, well, that's the other thing. It's like there's 500 people in the room. You came up to us. I mean, at the first dinner, was like, "Hey, man, I just want to say what's up." I'm like, "Dude, come join us." Like, there's nothing bougie about us, right? And it's all about connecting with people in real life. It's different. Like, I didn't know who you were before the conference, and afterwards, I'm like, "Hey, the up and away guy, like young kid, like you were involved in the church, and then you got involved in junk. You talked about building the culture of your business. Like, you came in with ideas that I'm like." Shit, I didn't even think about those when I was where he was at in business. I just wanted to go bang another job. I'm not thinking culture,
exercising junk.
Right, and then you asked us out to dinner the one night. And we're like, yeah, we'll go hang out, have dinner. Again, not that bougie of plans. We just make it up as we go. But what's interesting is those other cats that we had were from Oregon, right? Like, they're just slightly younger than you, and y'all are Zoomers, right? It's a weird generation, but it's like they could barely put together a sentence in person because they sat behind the computer. But
right.
My challenge to everybody here, I've been talking about this recently, the Waste Conference, Waste 360, WasteExpo in New Orleans. Here's the deal. Casey and I are going to be there. You should come out and meet the players. Because like you said, there's the truck and the trucks. They're not listening to this podcast most likely, and they're not looking to go next level. But the people listening to this podcast want to go next level. Waste 360 hooked me up with a bunch of swag because I'm an insider, which is a fancy way of saying, hey, come out, hang out, bring your boy Casey, right? And bring people from the junk roll industry. If you want to go next level, if you want to get the respect of the bigger companies, you got to show up where the smaller guys aren't there. You got to show up and learn from the bigger companies. You got to be able to take the time, just like JUNKCON last year, invest in yourself. So my challenge to everybody here, Taylor will put the link somewhere in the description. Insider7 is the promo code to go to Waste 360 New Orleans, May 1st through the 4th. Casey and I will be there. And it's a chance, to your point, Taylor, it's not just about going to the conference. Seek out the person you want to talk to and go spend one-on-one time with them.
Yeah.
That's where the rubber meets the road. You gotta put yourself out there. You got to be able to put a sentence together and bring value. Like, you brought a lot of value to us. And that's why you're here on the podcast.
That was my big thing going into JUNKCON, because I was like, okay, they had the statistics of the different size businesses that were there. I was like, okay, I know I'm not the biggest guy. I know I'm over the 50% mark of like scale, but I'm definitely not the biggest guy there. So I've got two goals. one goal is to find all the people who've been where I want to go. And my second goal is bring something of value to them, even though they're way bigger than me. So I spend 100%. A lot of time thinking about that. I was like, okay, what are 2 or 3 of the things that we're doing that I think a lot of people aren't doing regardless of their size? And that's what I talked about. Mm-hmm. And so that's some of the stuff I got into with you guys. The other thing too is in networking events, I'm very intentional. And whether that's at JUNKCON, which is an outside of the norm, like, let's be honest, right?
Yep.
Or whether that's just at the local business association, chamber, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm very intentional about how I spend my time. So I always eat last. I never sit down at a table until they force you that somebody starts speaking. Generally, if there's a food line, I pace the food line backwards. So I will go backwards up the food line and talk to every single person.
Slow. They're not going anywhere.
And they can't get away from me.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Taylor. I think I saw you last time we were here. Good to see you again. What are you up to this week? Whatever. And you don't know how many opportunities come from that. And then you get to meet new people, and you might just be the very first junk calling person they've ever met. If they're just getting into networking, that doesn't mean they're not a serious person. It just means they're looking to expand their network. And hey, I'm the friendly guy coming up shaking your hand.
Yeah, so that's Andy actually spoke on this. Make them earn it, right? Like, and we actually talked about it because I heard him say it. And I'm like, I was thinking something similar to that, but man, he really just blew it out there. And it's like, a lot of people network wrong. You go out there and like a strip club, just passing out business cards. But
it's true.
The problem is, what do you do when you have that stack? You put it and you forget about it. But what I like to think is networking is where you get people's attention and you qualify them, whether they are an investor or a client or whatever. You set up one-on-ones, then you pitch them. The one-on-ones is where you do the selling. And a lot of people go to networking events and then you're tied up in a 10-minute conversation with someone on their product or service, and you're missing out on other opportunities because you're stuck there. So, like he said,
networking. The intentionality is the networking event is the top of the pipeline.
Yeah,
that is.
How's your follow up?
When people are going to networking events, and I was 100% guilty of it. I'm like, oh, we're slow this week. I want to go to some networking events and book some jobs, right? Natural. And it's like, and occasionally that happens, but that's not your.
It's rare.
It's right. That is rare. What is less rare is you go to networking events, people recognize you. They're like, hey, I've been waiting, or hey, I didn't even know this industry existed, or hey, I might have a job for you, right? It stimulates a conversation. The goal of networking, right, the intentionality within the chaos. I like what you said there with going backwards in the line. At that, you get to control how long you talk to people. Because I'll argue the people that are going to suck up the most of your time are the ones that aren't going to be doing business with you, right? Correct. They got nothing else going on, and they want you to give up your time, right? They're the ones that you go out to lunch or coffee, and they want to go Dutch, and it's like that ain't. Right. Oh my God! Does that? I'll tell you what. When someone say, "Hey, you want to split the bill?" Every time, I'm like, "No, I'll pay for it," because what you're telling me is you don't value my time, right? Because this to you is just you're checking the box, and hey, you had to eat lunch either way.
Well, so real quick, who pays, right? The inviter or the invitee?
Whoever I say whoever initiates. I'd say I pay for 80. I would say I pay for 75-80% of lunches because I'm the one that wants to set up a lunch. Yeah. And that's it. Now, occasionally if someone reaches out to me and says, hey, I want to get in your calendar, I'll be like, cool. Yeah. Let's go to lunch. And this is the thing. I use lunch in particular. I have a really specific methodology when I go to lunch. So one of the things, so now we're going to go next level, right? I agree. Networking, sit down last, choose what table you want to sit at, work the room until you get yelled at. I am notorious for getting yelled at, right?
Yeah. Hey,
here's the deal.
Shut up back there.
Okay. Hey, shut up, dude. You throwing a couple extra. It's true. And some say the best looking. But here's the deal.
Some say that.
Some say. Hey, we only need some. Not everyone's your customer. All right.
Not everybody's buying what you're selling.
There you go, right? You let the market set the price. You hit on the hottest chick and work your way down. No big deal. Ralphie May does a good bit on that, right?
Dude.
Ralphie May. Favorite rep. Okay, there you go. Rest in peace. My favorite. Yeah. Favorite comedian of all time, Ralphie May. He does not get the respect. He's not a top 10 of all time guy, but he's my favorite comedian. I saw him live before he passed at one of his specials. Fucking hilarious. Anyways, got totally sidetracked. Here's the deal. No, but the thing is, when you go to the networking events, you can choose who you talk to. It depends when you show up, how you show up, and then set your own pace.
And
But
have an escape.
100% have an escape plan.
Like, so listen.
It's always about the exit.
I never
Exit.
get a drink. Okay, when I'm walking in the line and all that stuff, I don't
Yeah.
have a drink in my hands. If I have a drink in my hands, it means I've escaped a conversation. Hey,
Yeah.
so good to see you. I'm really getting thirsty. Let me go grab a drink. I'll probably catch you after.
Oh,
And
that's a good one.
Now I have the drink, and it's fine. I've been talking. It's all good. Now
I didn't. I'm not, dude. I'm stealing that. I'm stealing the shit out of that one.
And then after you have the drink, you have an empty cup. So the
Yeah.
next escape is back.
Yeah.
Let me go to the
I was gonna
bathroom.
say
I just drank this. We're about to start. I'm gonna run. I'll be back. See you after.
So I never liked bottles. I liked glass with ice. Even if I got a Coke or if I got a Jack and Coke, it's because you can sip it quicker. And if they're really getting to you, you're just like, man, I got to go. It's like, okay, now that drink goes, hey, man, I'm going to get a drink. Right?
Yeah, quick, fast, in a hurry.
I will say that's genius. Like that is, if you don't have an exit plan, you're kind of stuck. And then you're just that asshole. It's like, so look, I'm bored. You're really killing the vibe here. I'm going to go this way. I don't want to see you. That's the alternative.
I like that. Like you said, though, the business card slapping, I never hand out my business card unless they ask. And it's a two-way street. If you have what I want, I will ask you.
Yeah.
And most times, or here's the deal. If there's someone I want to connect with and close, I fucking close on the spot. I don't close business. I close the lunch. I don't do the, hey, let's grab lunch. If I tell someone, if I hand out a business card, hey, follow up with me, that is my, sometimes people, right? Here's the deal. When I get business cards, I used to come back to my office every time, and there was three things. X meant don't follow up with them. Circle meant if they follow up with me, I'll right. It's a neutral, whatever, right? And then a star was immediate follow up. Mm-hmm. I even cut that out. If there's someone at a networking event I want to get with, I will tell them intentional. Hey, I really want to do a one-on-one. What does your calendar look like this date and time? And I don't break away that conversation till I book it. Now, can they cancel on me in the future? Absolutely. 9 out of 10 times, people are going to hold their obligation. Now, if you say, hey, I'll follow up with you later, you've already lost the damn sale. And the sale isn't dollars. The sale is get them down farther in your pipeline.
It's the relationship. You're cultivating the relationship.
100%. And then we started dancing about this with lunch. This is how I do lunch. I go to the same spot all the time. The reason I do it for me is it reduces the variables. I already know what I'm going to eat. I already know what I'm going to sit. I already know the layout of the place, right? So all those variables that might get me twitchy or kicking my ADD don't happen because I know the battlefield. The other thing is I sit down first because I want to see where they sit. And this is what my research has told me. Hundreds of lunches, right? I'm the lunch king of Milwaukee. There's another guy called Lunch with Lori. He says he's the lunch king of Milwaukee. He ain't the fucking lunch king of Milwaukee. Right, he's number 2 behind your boy Andy from Weins, the Lunch King of Milwaukee. Put that on my LinkedIn profile. Anyhow,
gotta have something to do in Milwaukee, so
that's correct. That is correct. Because I'll tell you what, actually today is like 42 and sunny. I'm wearing a t-shirt. Okay, let's go.
It's great out today,
dude. I'm outside. This is the first day it's been sunny in like weeks down here.
There you
go. Outside chilling.
Y'all are living the dream down south. But here's what I do: I sit down. I watch where do they sit, and this is what my research has told me.
And who?
Women will generally sit next to me, right? So it's a top four chairs. They will generally sit to my left or to my right. Men of my age, younger, I'd say plus minus 20 years. So 20 years younger, 20 years older, 15, 20 years, call it. They will sit across from me.
Yeah.
Right, because it's competitive. I watch how do they treat the waitress. I listen to how they order. If someone's like, oh, yeah, I take care of people, I'm really easygoing. And then the waitress comes by, they don't look at them, they don't ask their name, and then they fucking make a complicated order of right? Well, can I have this without this and without the blah, 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 right? You're making shit complicated. Now, I don't tell people I'm fucking easygoing. I have a food allergy. I'm very particular. I get twitchy. Everyone that knows me knows who I am. So when I sit down to eat, I'm the guy that takes 2 minutes to fucking order. But that's what you get. I'm not like, I'm a good go with a flow guy. Just whatever's good. What good for the goose, good for the gander. I don't know no fucking geese or gander, right?
Man, when we got to Raleigh, that cafe was amazing. But I tell you what, like we probably spent 30 minutes before we even ordered.
Well, here's the thing. I'm like, hey, I can't have sugar. And she's like, how about glaze? I'm like, tell you, down south, y'all put glaze. Oh yeah, good night. Bro. Like you want biscuits and chicken? It's like, all right, syrup, glaze, dip, jam, all the things I can't have. I want biscuits,
last night,
chicken, done.
We're over at the uncle's house, Kelly's uncle, my wife. We're eating, we got the meatballs and the dip and everything. And one of the cousins go, did you put honey in these meatballs? They said, no, that's just the barbecue sauce. I'm like, it's
that sounds so
sweet,
good.
And I ate it, and I was like, wow, man,
Oh, yeah.
something is in that barbecue sauce.
No, New Orleans.
That's how it is down here, man.
Here, I'm going to do another plug for WasteCon. New Orleans is my favorite city to eat. They don't even know what sweet is because everything is savory
Spicy
and
and
it's
savory.
spicy.
Yeah.
It is Old
Nice.
Bay like you wouldn't believe. New Orleans, favorite place to eat down south. Yeah, Atlanta, y'all love putting honey on It's like there's a jelly,
Dude.
there's a jam, there's a glaze
Yeah.
to go on everything.
Well, and North
Raleigh-
Carolina doesn't know how to barbecue, so they have to cover
Oh,
it with
my
their
God.
sugar. You know?
He ain't wrong.
Yeah, I don't love North
Golly.
Carolina barbecue, man.
You got to go with the pork. We talked about this. The fried
I
chicken
know,
was on
but
point. The pork barbecue was good.
Oh, man.
The beef,
We're getting
the
way
beef
off
was
now.
It was terrible. What do you mean way off?
Oh,
This
that-
is this
no,
is
That's
the
what you get for
podcast.
talking about lunch, bro.
This is 100%
I'm-
relatable to our show. Like
Dude.
right here.
Dude, I
I'm
had
gonna
a
tell you
let
now.
me tell you something.
Okay.
I had a rotisserie chicken from Quick Trip today because they're $5.99.
Yes.
A full bird for $5.99 3 blocks away. You can't
Wow.
shake a stick at that.
Yeah.
Y'all got a
And
Costco
it's
up
not
there?
fried. It ain't a fried
they got
chicken.
Costco.
Dude, rotisserie chicken, that's 3 meals.
Yeah, dude. Rotisserie
Oh, I
chicken
hate
at
Costco. Dude, Costco fried chicken or rotisserie chicken tastes like soap. It's like
Whatever.
cilantro. Cilantro tastes
Whatever.
like soap to me.
That's a super you problem. So
No,
I
it's
don't even wanna
50%.
hear it.
All right, I'm gonna Google this right now. Costco chicken
All right.
tastes like soap.
You
It's made
Google
with
that, and I'm
soap.
going to tell you what to do at Chick-fil-A. So when you go to Chick-fil-A, here's the southern way to do it. You get you a chicken biscuit, and then you put grape jelly on that bad boy. If you
Mhm.
put grape jelly on there, you're going to be having a real good time. If you just eat it
Well, you
dry,
can't do that,
you're
Taylor.
going to have to call somebody.
So he can't eat
I
sugar,
can't.
believe me, because I had some bomb
Can't
ass
have sugar.
food, and I was right across from him, and I'm like, Andy,
Man.
like I know you can't have this, but I'm gonna spread it in.
Can you
like
do honey?
this is amazing.
I can't do honey.
No,
I can't do honey. Casey will sit there
Brutal.
and eat food and tell me how amazing it is. Here we go. Hold on. Here is Miss Vicky.
Like a dick.
Miss Vicky. Miss Vicky.
my
I trust this lady already. When you got a lady that looks like their name's Miss Vicky. Chicken tastes like soap. 5 reasons. Right? Chicken tastes like soap. Is that bad? Another one, chemically tasting rotisserie chicken, totally freaked out from Costco. So I'm not crazy. Costco is not a sponsor, right? So I can talk all the shit I want about the
I
rotisserie
think
chicken.
they saw those Dawn
they're-
commercials that gets oil off of ducks
Yeah.
in the ocean.
Yeah, they were
And that's
like,
what they
oh,
wash
that
their
might have been
chickens with.
It might have been.
If it's good enough for ducks, it's good enough for us.
I tell
Yeah.
you what. We raise chickens on our farm. They don't taste like soap. I'm
Wow.
telling you.
Fair enough.
It was washed to preserve longer, thus giving a clean chemical or chlorine taste. Man, they've been washing their birds. Bird washing. You heard of bird
Formaldehyde.
watching? Now you got bird washing. I don't have to tell you. I know when I cook food it tastes like soap because I didn't rinse my dish well enough. All right. now I'm off my Costco. Here's the other thing. I'm frugal as fuck. And I love Costco. I love Costco. Dude, their extra sharp cheddar cheese, 48 slices for $7.49, dessert.
Man.
Dessert cheese at its fucking finest. It's like Nathan's Reserve. That's my boy.
Very
Let's go,
Midwest
Nathan.
thing to say of you.
Oh my God. Dessert cheese? Hold on. For the record, I was on a cruise. That's right. I went on a cruise. No big deal. I didn't like it. But the
Wasn't
one
his
night
idea.
at dinner they had, it was not my idea. Anyways, they had dessert cheese on the menu. And so my girlfriend at the time, I took a picture
Fuck is
because her
dessert
family gave me shit for calling dessert cheese. And they had dessert cheese as a menu item. I ordered the shit out of it. Let me tell you something. It wasn't that good. All right, I've had better non-dessert cheese.
So like the cheese that like I imagine is dessert cheese would be like a brie cheese with like some pepper
Fuck
jelly
brie.
on it.
No, it's
No?
soft. No,
Or
I don't
some
want no
goat cheese.
I don't- No,
Like goat
like
cheese is
like
great.
No,
It's
I want
addicting.
no. I want like the bougie ass 8-year aged extra sharp cheddar. It makes the back of your teeth chatter just smelling it. You're like, that's the good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
You bite it and no, that's the good stuff. Oh my God, I'm
Damn.
going downstairs eating cheese in a minute. Let's
Cheese
go.
connoisseurs,
Also-
listen up.
Yeah. Also, Taylor, just between you, me, and everybody listening, I live in my warehouse now. No big deal. So when I go downstairs,
Well,
I have my
there's a
fridge
reason.
is my fridge. Yeah, I'm remodeling my house.
Okay.
But I've been living in my warehouse for the last month, and
Make it sound like you're homeless.
no, not yet. I might sell my house. I'll be honest. I have no problem living in my warehouse. I'm wearing sweatpants right now.
Oh my God.
Dude,
I've had-
hey,
I'm,
just for
I'm
you,
working
Andy,
from home
actually,
today in my office.
Andy,
pulling a Casey
I wore these
Bubba.
just for you.
Oh my God, dude!
My
There we
camo
go.
Crocs, baby.
For those of you
Wanna know where I
listening only,
Job site.
camo Crocs.
Those bad boys, and they go right on my feet.
You don't bang jobs with your camo Crocs, do you?
No, but I found them on a job site.
Why
That's
not?
fine. Oh yeah.
Eviction, baby.
Dude, Crocs are the most disgusting yet perfectly functional shoe.
I only wear them.
Yes.
Oh, dude, I wore Crocs.
I have some dignity, so.
I don't. I go to Costco in Crocs. I do yoga on the weekend. Man. I go to yoga in Crocs. I mean, they already hate me because I'm a male.
I used to go to jiu-jitsu in Crocs, so you didn't get me there.
Oh,
so last week we had our first freeze, right, of the year. It was insane.
Oh my god, it was city shut down.
And I will say this: it was super ass cold. And normally I'm in flip flops. That's just normally my go-to shoes for everyday use. Unless I'm going to do some hard work, then I'll put some boots on. But normally I'm in flip flops.
For the record, hold on. When was the last time you did hard work?
About 7 years ago. Yeah. So, actually, anyways,
hold on.
Yeah,
hold on.
okay,
I was talking to a guy earlier today. First of all, and they're like, "Hey, what does Casey do these days?" I go, "As little as possible."
Yeah.
Casey is full.
My Crocs on for this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. No, okay. So for the listeners at home, I am still running a full service junk removal company in the grind, day in, day out. Casey exited almost 2 years ago, and now does junk removal consulting and demolition GC work only, exclusively, and occasionally hangs out with me at conferences.
And now real estate investing.
And real estate, no, right, and real estate investing. So, his days of banging jobs. I mean, I don't bang jobs. Rarely do I bang jobs. However, when my guys hit shit with forklifts, I still find out about it.
Now, I will say this:
that was today's event.
So,
beam with a forklift.
And before I get back to the old flip flop story, the biggest thing for me is I do miss the day to day operation grind sometimes, right? I do, because a lot of creativity was, not just used in the day to day, but a lot of great ideas and opportunities came from the grind, right? Like when you're out there just saying, man, I don't care what you say. If you don't reach a certain point of desperation in your business, you're never going to truly understand how far you can go. And I've been there. I've been to the point where I was just like, man, how desperate can I really get? And it helps me grind harder, right? It's like, look, I'll never, ever just give up and quit and say, I'm going to go work at Walmart. Not that there's anything wrong with that. That's just not me. So for me, I miss it, dude. I miss it all the time. My priorities have changed recently. And honestly, I want to be able to have the freedom of mobility. So if I want to go join Andy at these badass conferences in New Guinea or Maui or, New Orleans, then I will.
Maui, who you teasing? We end up in Raleigh, Vegas, New Orleans. I'm not knocking them. Those are, dude, almost every conference you go to is down south. I'm going to Delaware next month. We're going to go, dude, it's going to be hot. Dude, 2 days, we're going to a scrapyard, we're going to a landfill, we're going to a MRF. It's like,
I will say, it's like they do things a little different.
A field trip.
The recycling up north is completely different than down south. That is one thing I will tell you.
How's that different?
They just have more options, and they've been doing it longer. Down south, hell, you can't even find a gypsum recycler down here. You go to Colorado, where gypsum was named, apparently. That's a random.
Thing. Would you read that?
No, we were on vacation. Dude, we were on vacation. We went to this town called Gypsum, and I was like, holy shit. And I looked over to my left. There's this huge fucking plant, and it was gypsum plant. And I was like, I wonder.
Gypsum board?
So then I looked it up.
I think he read that on his Snapple lid.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, that sounds more accurate.
Well, I looked it up, and I was like, no shit. This is what gypsum was named after. Gypsum, Colorado is what I believe. So,
now you're believing shit. Jeez,
that was pretty interesting to me. Gypsum.
Now
I think it's Colorado. That's where we were.
Oh, I can't spell it. No, apparently there's a Y in there.
Are you both Googling gypsum right now?
100%.
Municipality in Colorado.
Taylor, take over the podcast. Start saying words. Tell us.
Oh, dude, I'll talk, brother. You want to talk more about networking?
I want to finish my flip-flop story.
Oh, my God.
Gosh.
All right.
Okay,
this is important.
Okay.
So, I don't know if y'all saw this, but around Christmas time.
Break, we can cut the middle out.
Yes, around Christmas time, they come up with these slippers for the family, right? Papa Bear, Mama Bear, Little Bear, whatever, right? They're black and red fuzzy slippers that you can get for Christmas presents. Anyways, we got those. During this cold-ass week we had, I had to go to the store. I'm not wearing flip-flops in ice when it's freezing. So what did I do? I had shorts, basketball shorts. I had my Carhartt jacket on, this hat, and I threw the Papa Bear slippers on. And I went to the store. And that's just because when it comes to comfort, I know foot comfort. Flip-flops, slippers, or Crocs are the way to go. Now that I got that out of the way.
Very cute.
Okay, thank you.
For the record, gypsum board originally manufactured during the Edo period, 1912, in a little place called Japan. Not Colorado, not even the same continent, not even close.
Japan or gypsum, Colorado, and hold on a second.
Gypsum, Japan started producing it in 1922. They used to dry it, lay it out
gypsum
in sheets
is the home.
dry it. So
gypsum, Colorado is the home of the American Gypsum Drywall Plant and Mine.
There you go. That means they named the town after the the town after the business. It's like Hershey, Pennsylvania. Hershey, Pennsylvania was named after Hershey chocolate, not the opposite way.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mr. Hershey, I think they called him. That was his first name.
I'm just waiting on somebody to establish Chick-fil-A, Georgia. Praise the Lord. I'll move there.
Praise the Lord. Here, I was born in Decatur. Yeah, so here it is the Lord's chicken, just not on Sunday. So I was born in Decatur. We lived in Stone Mountain there until I was almost 4. And I remember Chick-fil-A as a kid. And then we came up north, and there was no Chick-fil-A's here. And then Chick-fil-A showed up. I was like, this is amazing. I remember, like, no one knew what Chick-fil-A was. I was like, it's God's chicken. I don't know, like a little bit of Jesus in that batter. And now Chick-fil-A.
Well,
talk about we get franchises shit because junk food franchises are not a good idea. Chick-fil-A is a great idea.
They're the standard.
If you can vet out the process. Well, you got to work like 2 years for them. They only take like 1 in 100 people. And the other thing is they own it all. So you're more of an operating franchisee, not an owner. But on average, owners make around $250,000 a year.
Yeah.
So they're doing just fine with 1 day off and fried chicken deliciousness every day.
But see, that's the thing is
doing okay.
You're actually getting what you pay for.
A lot. Yeah. Well, we talk a lot amongst my guys about, like I say this all the time, our goal is to be the Chick-fil-A of junk hauling. Why? Because you go to Chick-fil-A, you get a very similar experience every time. It's always positive. The food always tastes good. It's never complicated. It's very convenient. If you want to do the app or the drive-thru, or if you want to sit down and scan the thing, you can do it. And it always functions. Like sometimes you drive by, some other place and they're like, oh, lobby closed today. You're like, what? I want to get what I expected. And so we talk about that. Literally our meeting this morning was talking about reliability. We got a review from a customer, said we've used them 4 or 5 times. Their service now is just as good as the very first time we had them. We love them. We always know what we expect. And one of our values is reliability. And so I said, great job, you guys. We nailed it. And this was, we're implementing a new digital checklist system for our mornings. I said, and this is why we have a digital checklist. And so it was, here's your encouragement. Here's your connected action item. We touched the core value. Let's talk about today's schedule and hit the road.
Connection. What was that? You just said some high school college word?
I try to connect the action item to the core value, if at all possible. And I try to hit core values in our meetings.
Dude.
It doesn't always work out that way. Today worked out especially well.
No, but see, Taylor, here's the deal.
No. But a lot of people are taking the shots.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't even think about any of this shit.
Yeah.
There's like job done, cool, next. And this is what growth and scalability looks like, because you have to understand the process. And if you don't have standard or operating procedures or processes in your company, then you're going to be always running around scattered. And
even before you have, even before processes, you have to have principles.
Well, principles,
those are great. Principles. Principles drive process, not the other way around. And you have to have principles. Now, I've heard of fundamentals, values, mission statement, all of it, right? But those are the principles. Once you've established principles, the processes start to write themselves.
Yeah, especially when you're operating with, like you said, right? Reliability is one of your values, right? Your core values. So core values could be really whatever you stand your business on. I think a lot of us would love for it to be, we're the friendliest, we're the cheapest, we're this. But the problem is we don't want to be the cheapest. So when it comes to price, don't even mention anything like, oh, we're the most affordable. Those aren't values. Value is, hey, we operate on integrity and trust and, reliability and promptness. Just because
your value can be price oriented. Let's go back to Costco. Costco's hot dog is $1.50, $1.50. It hasn't changed since like 1985. There was a new CEO that got brought in, and the founder and the director of the board or someone said, if you think about changing the price of the hot dog from $1.50 you will be fired. Right?
Mm-hmm.
If they would have normalized the cost of a hot dog at Costco for today's inflation, it'd be like $4.85.
Mm-hmm.
Because Costco makes 3/4 of their money on membership. People pay $100 for the opportunity to go in. So for them, price is a principle. So price can be a principle. You and I have chose not to because we want a high quality. There are other junk roll companies out there. They're like, hey, we'll beat anybody's price. That can be their model.
Right, yeah.
Now, so being price conscious can be a principle. But if it's not, though, yes, to your point, what value do we bring? Because if you don't talk price, you got to talk value. Because at the end of the day, there's a financial transaction that occurs.
Absolutely.
So
the thing is.
Sorry, Casey. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Taylor.
Well, I was going to say that's the conversation I have with customers whenever we're, especially big projects. Like if it's a big project, generally I'm estimating. And so I'll go out there and say, hey, this is our estimate. This is what we can do. Here's A, B, C, and D. And they'll say, okay, well, we're getting 3 other quotes. I say, okay, that's great. You absolutely should get other quotes. I'd love the opportunity to compete for your business. And I'd be more than happy to entertain any apples to apples comparisons and see what we can work up for you. Here's a couple of things you need to ask everybody who sends you a quote to make sure that you're comparing apples and apples instead of apples and rocks, because you don't want to hire a rock.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's very simple. And in junk removal, it's pretty basic. Do they have GL? Do they have commercial auto? Do they have workers' comp? Well, there's only 2 guys. Doesn't matter. If they break their arm, they're coming to see you if they don't have workers' comp. So
you also have to realize, does your customer care? Like, no offense, but there's been a lot of times where I just stopped. Eventually, I stopped working for house flippers and real estate investors on the lower levels because they're very budget driven, which rightfully so. I get it. You got a budget. Cool. Didn't fit my business. But a lot of times they were like straight up. And in the South, you know how labor goes down here. You can pretty much go anywhere and pick up some labor. And that's what they would say. Hey, you're too expensive. I really want to use you. Is there a way you can just use some day laborers? And it's like, look, man, now I'm sacrificing my values to fit your narrative. And no offense, but that's just not who I am. And at the same time, they want, hey, I just want it done the cheapest way. I don't care if you throw it over the next door neighbor's fence. I don't care if you put it on the highway. I need it gone. That's just not how we operate, right? So I think recognizing your customers. Yeah, go ahead.
Great. I'll say here's a basic principle here. You have to find customers and fellow vendors, because it goes both ways, people that you buy from and people that you sell to, right, that are like-hearted, not necessarily like-minded.
And people that refer you too.
Well, that too, right? But I'm saying right off the bat, here's the deal. If they are like-hearted, if they're like, hey, we're going to put the customer first, we take care of people, we care about communication or efficiency, we care about these things, right? They're like-hearted. And now you're going to share similar customers. You're going to refer each other because your customer base is willing to spend more for a higher quality experience.
Yeah.
Versus, hey, I don't care about the customer. I don't care I don't care if we throw everything away. Like me, if actually I had a conversation earlier today with a potential customer, like, hey, it's really important to us that we have a documented trail of the weight. It was a commercial client, right? A documented trail of all the weights of the things you pick up and where they end up. I'm like, cool. We already do that. You go get Chuck in a truck that takes it to the city fill. He ain't give you weights of shit because he doesn't have a process for that yet. And so that's fine. He has his customers. I have my customers, and ain't no shame in that game. You recognize who you are and what matters to you, express it, let people know, in your marketing, your advertising, your selling, all this stuff, who you are and what you stand for, and you'll over time attract the right people. It's a long game. And this is exactly why repeat customers are so important, because now you can even put that as a stat if you want, right? Statistic. If you like statistics, but you can go back and say, hey, look, it's already on my KPIs. Yeah, there you go. I'll pull it up right now. I'll tell you.
Too.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, I think I had a 55 to 60% of my business was repeat business. And you've probably heard it too. This customer is a one-time deal. No, it's not. And you'll be surprised. I mean, how much junk could someone accumulate? Oh, believe me, it's not just junk. They have problems they need solutions for. But you go back to those clients. They might have multiple properties. Well, absolutely. But even just your regular homeowner, man, they don't have to be investors or multiple business owners. They're just, hey, I have, my wife went crazy and she redecorated the house. Or, hey, my husband went crazy and he bought a bunch of shit on Amazon. We have a bunch of boxes. See, it happens. The cool thing is you go back to them and say, hey, look, you've been using me multiple times throughout the year. Why? You ask them why. And then when they answer you, you write that shit down and say, you know what, guys, look, This is what we need to be driving, right?
Or longer than a year. We got a phone call off
absolutely.
of the Google LSA ad, which generally is the most transactional person you're going to get.
Yep.
And we went out and did a full house clean out, $3,500 job, good little job. It was great. And he said, oh, it's, some relative's house. He's the executor, whatever, get it done. Cool. Great. No big deal. And we just figure, okay, he's probably a one-off, but he's in our system. He gets the follow-up. He gets all the stuff. And 8 months later, he comes back. Hey, I actually ended up being the executor of another thing. Can you come out and look at this other property? Same exact deal. Another $3,000 job. Knocked it out real quick. And he was super happy. And it would be so easy to say, this is just some rando on Google. Let's bang the job and move on. No, nobody is random. Nobody's worth moving on from. Everybody is worth keeping up with. And that doesn't mean they're all equally worth the amount of effort, right? I've got real estate agents who send me $400 a year, and I've got real estate agents who send me 5 figures a year. Well, the 5-figure agents get different gift baskets and different gift cards, and that's cool.
Oh, absolutely.
And
the beauty of it is
they're all valuable.
Yeah, and if you're not tracking that, you won't know really who your actual clients are. Because I've said this, I think I told this to you, Taylor. I hate discounting people that haven't used my business before. I don't like rewarding people that I don't know. If you use me, guess what? The next time you use me, I appreciate it. Hey, maybe here's a $10 off, whatever, of a full trailer. But the point is, I want to have them keep using me because the customer acquisition cost just keeps dropping. And I just pulled it up, Andy, and out of 14, the day I left, the numbers that I pulled, out of 14,987 jobs, I had 7,287 customers, right?
So 50% of your customers used you, or everyone used you twice on average.
So the average came out, obviously, naturally, for a fact, everybody's not using me twice, but it tells you.
No, but you have commercial, great. You have commercial accounts that use it 20 times.
Right.
Yeah. So
20, 30 times.
And if you ask me today, who's your perfect customer, the unknown or the person that always uses you? Of course, it's going to be the person I know that's going to call me.
Person that's always going to use you, and they already know what to expect. They're already in your system. You cut down the operational expense, all those reasons. Right? I looked last year, Q4 of last year, 13% of our business last year was repeat business, so existing customer base, and just over 30% was referral. So you take those 43% of our customers came from us doing a good job.
Yeah. Last year, our top 5, ways that we acquired a customer were other than unknown, because the first half of last year, we kind of sucked. So unknown was in there. But the first 5 that we actually knew were repeat customers, referrals from friends, referrals from realtors, a referral networking group I'm a part of, and one other way that was referral based. Our top 5.
So truck visibility isn't one?
No, truck visibility is actually relatively low, which is interesting because all our stuff's wrapped and stickered and,
so 21% for Q4 of last year was truck visibility. We spent a lot of money on our wraps and we got.
So Taylor,
different phone.
I'm saying, how do you? I get that.
On shit.
I get that, but do you ever ask them, hey, have you seen the trucks? Like, do you ever? Because sometimes the truck is a primary, right? And then maybe it leads on to the secondary.
We do that with yard signs too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because our yard signs have a call tracking number, which is great. But we get plenty of calls that our system tells us are Google, but the client tells us it's a yard sign. And
correct. They saw the yard sign, saw the name. Yeah, Google is.
I got you.
Yeah. Those are the harder ones to parse out. So I'm sure that we have probably an increase in vehicles that is probably represented in some other number because they picked a different channel, even though they knew us from that.
Yeah, they have the channel that's closing them.
You just get what you can get.
Yeah, and they may be getting closed on Facebook or Google or yard sign, but who knows? I got you.
Yeah,
but it's also not just. It's not about having this exact perfect number. It's about if you continually track over time, you're going to see trends. That's what it really comes down to. People, it's like you're not going to say, okay, hey, 30, right. You have to have a trend line, and you document. I'm thinking about this. I'm going to take my last year and just trend right every month and just do a line graph because right now it's a circular graph because I want to see the trend line. Are we going up or down, and where they are long term? Because then we can say, okay, hold on. If they do go up, because circular graph is good, but it's only for a 90 period. I want to see 30 days over 30 days over 30 days continuous. See, this is why we do the podcast because it's like we're talking about. In case you're talking about banging jobs is new idea generation. Doing this podcast, being part of this podcast is phenomenal for me because
I'm learning so much.
Constant. Yeah. It's like, we share, but we also learn, and we also in real time learn.
Well, because a minute ago, you had a smile on your face because Taylor was talking, and I had the same smile because I know you and I were like, holy shit, that's actually that's brilliant. I can't believe he's actually doing this early in the game. Because, I mean, I'm going to tell you now, especially with Andy, we kind of went and then figured out. And then okay, I'll try this next.
So did I.
Well, I know, but what I'm saying is the fact that you're thinking of different ways so soon, it's great because a lot of people of your generation are trying to go, what's the easiest way that I could do A, B, and C, not what's the most effective way.
Yeah. That was actually a big hump I had to get over last year because if I'm being totally honest, right, if we're being honest here on this podcast, it's easy to get insecure as a business owner. You see one guy doing some other thing that is freaking killer, and you're like, why can't I be that guy? Well, because God didn't make you to be that guy. You're made to be you, right? Use your strength. So, I was getting all worked up about the fact that I don't run any Google ads, and if I spent a bunch of money on Google ads, I could be this giant guy. I was like, okay, hang on. I actually had to look at the numbers. My dad's a fractional CFO. So numbers I've always been around numbers. I remember being 8 years old talking about gross profit margin at the dinner table, right? So I had to look at it, and I was like, okay, so I do all this networking and I build so much of my business through these relationships. The thing about relationships is pretty much they just require time. I mean, maybe here or there a little bit of resources, but really it's time. It's making sure you're on your A game when you're talking to somebody, that you're not half-assing a relationship. Yep. And so the thing is okay, maybe my business is technically top line smaller, but I'm way more profitable than a lot of these guys who would rather do the easy thing and just dump a ton of money into Google Ads and feel busy. I don't need to feel busy. I need to make money. I'm in the business to make money and to help people. And you can't help people if you don't make money, but I don't need to be busy. That's not in the equation.
No, here's the deal. This is the old adage, right? Revenue is for showers, profit is for growers. And that's the thing.
And cash flow is king.
Cash flow is king, right?
I've been learning a lot about that during this year's slow season.
Like Mr. Wonderful.
It helps you get through the slow season.
Cash flow, right? It's actually, so I was on a call earlier with a trash broker. He's like, "Hey, we normally pay you on 7 days." I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine." And he's like, "Well, we have some small haulers that can't, carry it for 7 days because 7 days plus time to deposit. You could be at 10 days,
14
easily
probably
with that." And he goes, "Actually, we really want to get guys to 30 days because a lot of these projects we don't get paid for 30 days." I go, "I don't care. I got contracts that pay me in 30 to 45 days." Now, 7 years ago,
no,
I didn't know how cash flow worked, so that wasn't an option. So I told him, I said, "You can move into 30 days." I said, "But here's the thing: if you move into 30 days, I don't want the same pricing because there's a cost to that money."
Yeah.
Yep.
And he's like, right now, when you can start negotiating payment terms with people that are paying you, that's when it's next level.
Yeah,
because you've established the flow. You don't live by the peaks and valleys constantly.
Yeah, you also don't fear.
Numbers, you trust the decision making. You
don't fear hearing no. And that's the other thing is a lot of entrepreneurs, especially new ones, they are afraid of hearing no. No thanks. And that's the thing is you have to be ready for that. Now, like you said, negotiate everything, and it's negotiable. Everything. I don't care who or what company there is. I'm telling you right now, I heard a lot of no's. And when I found a yes, I went back to those no's and I said, "Hey, here's why you should switch that to yes." And they're like, "Oh shit, I know what's his name. Yeah, let's do the thing." Because a lot of the no's are preemptive. So I think to your point, Andy, I'll stretch my budget. Yeah, I'll wait 30 days to get paid. But in that sense, I'm gonna need that to go up a little bit more because now I'm waiting for you to pay me for something I already did.
I'm providing you greater value because I recognize the value of the job. I recognize the value of your cash.
You're fitting their needs better.
Your cash.
So let's even go next level than that, right?
Yeah.
Because we can talk about that with these established clients and things like that. How do you provide that same level of flexibility for the people who realistically are one-offs, right? So there's a couple of ways that I've started doing that because I want to give as much flexibility to the client as I can, even residential clients. Now, I don't let residential clients take a net 30. They just don't get that option, right?
They don't. Not
but we offer financing. We offer financing on every job. It's integrated into our system. And we have some people that works really well for. We only ever explicitly mention it to somebody when it's a full home clean out, high dollar project coming up on a real estate transaction. Those really work.
How do you pay for that?
It's integrated into my CRM, and so I get paid within
Workies?
3 days technically. Yeah, it's in Workies.
Okay.
It's an add-on called Sunbit. Now it costs me 5% of whatever the job is, so there's no discounting on jobs like that, and I tell them that up front.
But so 5%, or on top of the 3% credit card, or no, it's in lieu of
total,
3%.
Total.
Got it. Okay. So unless you're taking so if you're paying 3% credit card, you're basically eating another 2% for them to finance.
Yeah.
Yeah, but here's the deal. Would I give somebody a 2% discount if it made the difference between them booking and not booking?
Oh, 100%.
Yes. Right.
Yeah, because you're adding value. Yeah, you're adding credit. Now you're saying, hey, my price is still my price, but the value is, hell, I bought furniture this weekend, and they're like, hey, here are your options. You can either get 12 months interest-free financing, or you put 20% down now, and you can have 36 months interest-free financing.
Yeah.
So, and I was about to put it on my credit card. I was like, I'll just pay it on my credit card. I don't give a shit. And then I'm looking at it, I was like,
yeah, I'm paying 18% on this freaking card.
Well, I paid my cards off right away. Now I'm missing out on, I'm going to be missing out on points. So that was the outside. But I bought some really nice furniture. It's going to cost me less than $200 a month for the next 3 years. Yeah. Right? I think about like profit first mentality. It's like, oh yeah, and it's interest free. I won't think twice about that $200 a month versus a couple $1,000 hit for a nice couch.
Well, the other thing too is like it's not my job to manage my customers' finances, right? No. It's my job to provide the customer as many options and they can make their own choices.
100%.
So like Taylor Chastain, I don't do debt. Like we don't have debt. My wife drives a 2006 Ford, right? It's all good. The
business because you don't love your wife,
debt.
Apparently.
I know. I'm going to get her a new car this year. But
we met it. His wife's really nice. We met her.
Yeah, she was there.
Yeah, y'all met Kelly. Yeah.
Yeah, y'all were like when your baby was like 6 months old, you're like, I don't know, this is our weekend vacay.
No.
Actually, I think Taylor's the one. Taylor's the one who invited us to dinner in Raleigh.
He did.
Yeah.
Casey, were you not listening to the podcast 30 minutes ago?
No.
When I said Taylor invited us to dinner?
I just checked in. I'm sorry, guys.
Behind the curtain, you two were part of my hit list, right? When I go to any networking event, I have a hit list. You two were on it. There were some other people on it as well. And I hit everything on my hit list.
You walked up to me, and you're like, hey, man, can I sit down and have dinner? Where you're like, I just really wanted to meet you. I'm like, this guy's way too ambitious for a big nothing burger that Kate. I mean, we're guys that own Junk Removal Company. No, here's the deal. You were the first person that came up to me that like knew us, that were like, you had intention, you gave first. There's a lot of other people that throughout the week like dance around it or whatever. It's like, dude, A player. Here's the deal. A players want to be around A players.
Yeah.
Well, plus, we got to meet other people at that lunch or that dinner that.
Oh, yeah, you brought. We didn't have to do shit.
It was great. And the cool thing is now you're on our podcast. So it's like, hey, look, we want to hear from you because you're interesting enough to get our attention there. But at the same time, the fact that you're bringing value to the conversation of junk removal, right? I guarantee that this episode will put out more value to a lot of these listeners than a few of them that I know off the top of my head. And it's because what you're talking about is your day-to-day operations. And I think a lot of what Andy and I talk about don't necessarily go all the way into day-to-day every single time. But this is directly relatable to your day-to-day operations, man. And a lot of people live day-to-day.
It's very important, I think, to have, obviously this is a dumb, obvious sentence, but it's very important to have all those different tiny nuances of the day-to-day nailed down for two reasons. One, my guys need to know what is expected of them. And I don't always get this perfectly right. This is still a work in progress. But they need to know what's expected of them. They need to know how we treat people and handle people. And then on the other side, our customers and our referral partners and all of them, they need to know what to expect. They need to know that the same level of intentionality that they get when we're at the networking event is going to carry all the way through to, we track our net promoter score. So all the way through to our net promoter score follow-up text that they get the week after their job is completed. Like they need to know all of that stuff. And then the third thing is junk removal is still very much a new and growing industry and customers don't know what they expect. They really don't. And so when they show up, they need to go, wow, that was better than I expected. They don't know what they expect, but they know it. They know that we are better than what they expected. And that lifts the whole junk removal industry as a whole.
Now it's an experience.
Yeah. Our goal is to be the bright spot of every single customer's day, which is why one of our other values is encouragement. We want to be an encouraging factor to our clients.
Encouragement. What movie is that from?
I don't know.
I don't watch movies. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't watch
Very
movies
expensive.
or sports.
Yeah.
I don't do anything.
I just do
I'll
figure
business.
it out. Couples vacation or couples something with Vince Vaughn and them. Anyways,
Casey's got time to sit around and watch movies. Apparently,
encouragement. Man, y'all are a bunch of
inconceivable.
haters.
I do business and hang out with my family, and once a week I get to play music in the church. That's about it.
Same here, minus the music. I will say this: I have adopted a new morning routine. Right. So here's one thing I'll tell you, Andy. This is a big part of my day. In the morning, when I wake up, the first thing I do, right, is take a shower, get ready, and then I go to the kitchen and I make breakfast. So I would say 5 out of 7 days a week, I make breakfast for my family. And when I make breakfast, the first thing I also do is turn on the Amazon Alexa, and I tell it to play. Usually it's like 4 songs, a couple country songs, but then there's one that my son loves for some reason. It's by Dua Lipa, Levitating, right? So like 8 in the morning, we're bumping.
That's a sick bass line, by the way.
Yeah, and we're like bumping, making breakfast at 8 in the morning. Now, that's what I do all day because I enjoy that precious 1 to 2 hours in the morning. That'll help my day significantly. So yeah, man. I mean, I may not be always working, but I'm doing some stuff.
Andy, did you catch that he takes his showers in the morning?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Why is that weird? I take my showers at night because I'm a working man.
Yeah, taking showers in the morning is what people who don't sweat do.
Oh, I've always done that. Oh, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Even slinging junk?
I mean, obviously, you're going to take a shower when you get home when you've been outside in 100 degrees. But I'm not taking
2 showers a day. I ain't got time for that.
Well, here's the reason.
2 showers a day.
So, yeah, I mean, at nighttime, you take a shower when you're dirty, right? In the morning, if you already took a shower that night before, in the morning, I'll get in for like 2 minutes and just wake the fuck up. I mean, it helps me wake up.
No, dude, I'm awake. If I stand up,
that's fine. That's fine. That's you. I'm a little older than you.
No.
My bones make different noises.
If it wakes you up, that's great. That's great.
I wake up in the morning, I'm like,
dude,
shit.
I screwed up my ankle the other day floating that really big job I was telling you about. I jumped the fence and I landed weird, and it's been a month and my ankle still hurts.
Wearing Crocs.
Killing me.
See, instead of jumping the fence, I usually just open the gate that's like 10 feet to the right. That's me.
No, it was a
smarter,
long
not harder.
fence. I wasn't going to walk all the way down there.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
So am
I'm sore. I did yoga yesterday and got sore. Okay,
that's funny.
I do work, son. I do work.
Dude, you want a real sore session? Go play some basketball. Man, the other day I was just shoot some hoops for like 30 minutes. Afterwards, I was like, "What the hell is wrong with me?" I was sore for like 2 days.
What were you doing for 30 minutes?
Shooting hoops, playing basketball.
Oh, that's what I thought you said.
Yeah.
You don't seem like the basketball type.
Oh, dude.
Wow.
You just call me long arm of the law. Don't get me started.
Who's they? Who's the they?
All the kids at the rec centers where I grew up.
Oh my God, the rec centers.
I was like white chocolate. I was the only white person on the court.
Hey, white chocolate. That was the nickname the detainees in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba gave me. I'll tell you what. Of all things I've earned in this world, that's on them. Hey, speaking of things I fucking earned in this world, I was going to throw this out earlier when Taylor was talking about being the Chick-fil-A of junk removal, right?
Yeah.
That's myself, right? You want to be the Cadillac, the Uber, the Chick-fil-A. Let me tell you something. You know what else we want to be? The Super Bowl of something. Let me tell you a little something about the Super Bowl, Casey.
I didn't watch it.
His head, Taylor. This is breaking news to you. All right, I don't care. Here's the deal. Here's the deal about the Super Bowl, right? There's only 3 ways you get on the Super Bowl, right? You either run, you fucking sing, or you smile and wave. That's it, right? You got the game,
True.
you got the singing, and you got the commercials. That's what we show up for, ain't that right, Taylor? Let me tell you a little something. That happened here in Wisconsin, the great place.
Oh my gosh, I already know he's going with
your boy.
This suicide.
Your
ad.
boy, about halfway through the third quarter, his commercial comes up. Good looking guy, face on screen.
Oh my gosh!
I'll tell you what, Taylor. I was on a Super Bowl commercial here in Wisconsin market for a commercial I shot about a month ago.
Let's get that out of the way.
Dude, okay, hold on. I didn't know, Casey. Don't
I didn't either. When I saw it, I was like,
I didn't know.
Holy shit.
Dude, I'm sitting there telling
awesome.
Dude, I'm not even lying. I'm sitting there telling a story to my aunt about deer hunting. We're bullshitting. It's happening in the third quarter, whatever. And all of a sudden, my aunt is like, Andy, you're on TV. I looked, I was like, yeah, I am.
And then you're like,
holy shit. And it was like a full stop. So then, this is how stupid it is, right? So it's a family party. My mom and dad are there, a couple cousins, aunts, uncles, whatever. So we're upstairs because that's where the food was. Naturally, that's where I'm going to be. So I go to the top of the stairs because my mom was downstairs, my uncle, a couple other people. I go, Ma, I was on TV. She goes, what? So I go downstairs. I was like, hey, I just was on TV. It's my mom, my uncle, and like 3 or 4 other people. And they're like, oh, we were all looking at our phones. We weren't watching the commercials. So I had them rewind it. And then my uncle played it, and he played it back in slow motion. I'll tell you what, that's what the most awkward thing ever. You see yourself on the big screen in slow motion. But hey, there's the thing. My phone blew up. I'm Facebook famous. No big deal. Super Bowl commercial in your local market here in Wisconsin.
I saw it, I'm over here like,
dude, it doesn't suck.
Dude, I cannot wait till tomorrow. I got to say something. And even Monica, Monica saw it first. And she's like, hey,
on the Facebook?
Is this Andy? Yeah. And I was like,
Yeah,
that is. His face looks definitely different. It looked chubby. And I was like, huh, that is Andy.
The camera adds 50 pounds.
How many cameras did you have on you, dude?
How many cameras did you eat? It was water weight. I was in the middle of my cycle.
I think it's also the angle, but you just look so generic, dude. You're just like,
oh my God.
Like, hi, I'm like, Mr. Army.
No, that's they said they wanted a generic looking person in a uniform.
That was great.
That.
No, that's cool.
I got a fresh cut. I shaved.
Oh, dude, you can bring up in 10 years.
He said, I'm gonna eat me some dessert cheese, and I'm gonna be right there.
Dude, I dessert cheese so hard. Here's the deal. Here's
Weren't you at a gas station filming that?
That'd be even cooler. Quick Trip, official not sponsored Quick Trip filming it. No, I was at a coffee. It's called Dry Hooch, which is really cool business. So it's a coffee shop developed for veterans by veterans, nonprofit, and its mission is to provide veterans a safe spot to have coffee, and then they have meeting rooms upstairs, and they do AA and some other stuff. So it's a really cool venue, Dry Hooch. The other thing is, and this is a shameless promotion here. They don't pay me for this shit, but it's for the number 988, which recently came out. Now 988 is a suicide and crisis prevention hotline, and I'm involved in that community to a certain extent. And when this came out to me, I had auditioned for it, and it was a couple hours of sitting there smiling at the camera. I'll tell you what, when they tell you to smile, right? The word of the day was think about smiling without smiling. I'll tell you what, my mouth gets me into and out of most situations. I had to sit there and not talk for 2 fucking hours and smile at a camera. It was fucking awkward. And they got steam going in the background. I got pictures. You go to my Facebook. There's like 13 people on this crew to get this 4-second shot of me fucking smiling like a creep. But hey,
did you have any words or any lines or no?
No, nothing. I just sat there. That was it. But here's the deal. If it means veterans and other people are more willing to reach out, right? The whole adage is like, hey, do you have someone to reach out to? So some people don't or feel like they don't.
Yeah.
But you call 988 in any state, you will get someone 24 hours a day. And I can tell you, full transparency, I have needed that phone number at times in my life.
Oh, dude.
Right? I had people I could reach out to, but I know other people that reached out to me or felt like they couldn't reach out to somebody. So I joke, it's awesome when I was on a Super Bowl commercial. Like, that wasn't on the bingo card, right? Andy Weins Super Bowl, not on my bingo square. Pretty dope. The fact that I got to see it with family and friends, versus just sitting at the house or bar or something, that was pretty cool. So, it all ended up being pretty cool. But it's also a little bit about why we do this podcast and why I do my other podcast centered around veterans. It's because we go through this world lost. And whether it's junk removal or suicidal ideations, you want to know there's someone to your left and your right. Or like in your case, Taylor, you're a young guy. You've been in this hustle, right? You were excited to meet someone and add value, and also not think twice about asking for answers. So good on you for having that killer, the killer mindset, killer in a good way mindset.
Well, that's the big man. The reason I got into junk removal, the reason initially I got into junk removal totally was an accident. But the reason I actually decided to really go after this is, I was working at a church. I had a 5-year career in the ministry, and that's where I thought I was going in my life, right? That's what I thought I was doing. I was going to be a youth pastor, community outreach pastor kind of thing. And COVID happened, and I was like, I was hauling junk to, in 10 hours hauling junk, I would make what I made in 35 hours at the church. So I was paying my bills that way.
Yeah.
But I realized, I prayed with more people on their driveways than I did in church during all of COVID. And I realized I can help people just as much doing this as I could being involved in the church. And so, literally, I just had a phone call 2 days ago. I was after hours talking to a client. He said, man, I'm coming back from this part of town. My dad's doing really bad. This is going on. I said, dude, for what it's worth, man, I'm going to say a prayer for your dad and your family. I know what it's like to go through something with family, and let us just be the easiest part of what you got going on right now. I don't know what that does for that guy or doesn't do for that guy, but I know that it's my job to show up, to be generous with my time, generous with my attitude, and try to make people's days better, to take care of them. And sometimes that's, hey, I'm willing to shovel the adult diaper so you don't have to. And other times that's, let's sit down for 30 minutes and have a conversation about, just what your dad meant to you before we, tear this property up and get 20,000 pounds off of it. Yeah. But it's really about taking care of people. And then obviously I spend a lot of time focusing on how do I do that with my team to make this the kind of place where people want to work and feel like they're making a difference, feel like they're well taken care of, and feel like they have camaraderie,
Yeah.
It's important.
No, I can appreciate that. A lot of people, my ex-girlfriend always asked me this. Hell, she asked me this about you. I told her about you when I got back from JUNKCON, right? I'm like, hey, this is a young guy, up and away, cool business, right? Great attitude. You had hockey hair at the time, right? And she's even asked, she's like, why do people want to get in this business, right? Why do you want to haul trash and haul junk for a living? I tell people all the time, that what we do in junk removal is take legitimate physical challenges and stress and concerns off of people's shoulders. Junk removal is the tactical thing we do, but the way we make people feel afterwards, the weight of the world being lifted off their shoulders, the fact that they can see the floor again, they can see the light, they can see opportunity because there was this physical barrier from where they are and where they want to be. So junk removal, it really is a somewhat spiritual journey. I also talk about what we talk about, the 3Ds: death, divorce, and domestic disputes. We are there often in some of the toughest times of people's lives. And you don't think about that when you're an electrician or plumber.
How many times have you showed up or your team showed up and you were the first people there after the cops left?
Oh, more than once.
Sometimes you're still there while the cops are there. And they're watching the property and you're cleaning it.
Correct.
I had the cops call on me one time, actually. A little different situation.
For why? Yeah, a little bit different situation.
It was a code enforcement job. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
That was a great time.
Continue. Yeah, code enforcement. Yeah, anyways. Yeah, someone pulled a gun and it wasn't the cops. No, there are times where exactly it's like, yeah, we're strong guys with, weak back, strong back, weak minds, banging jobs more often than not. And there's so much more to it. For the people that are looking to make a quick buck, like you said, you did it because you needed to make money, right? But you found purpose in time, and you felt, hey, I can continue serving people, serving my community, providing value to others by lifting and carrying and loading trucks and trailers. There's not a lot of other jobs or careers out there that have the impact that we have, right? And some may call it a stretch, but I think about like nurses, right? Nurses often see people on their worst days. And maybe their best days, right? If it's a birth of a child, it's the best day. If it's you're in the ER, it's the worst days. And we have that. We have sometimes, hey, someone's moving onto their house and going to move to a bigger house. Or hell, we get people all the time that are retiring. They're like, yep, I'm moving to Florida. Like this is the last of the down, right size it. Yeah. But so we get that full range, and it's on us as stewards of this industry to really respect that in people's homes and their businesses. Hell, when you clean out somebody's business that they lost and they're right there,
it's hard.
You're putting their dreams in the back of your truck. Oh,
yeah. Dude, that's how 2020 went. Dude, 2020 was, it sucked because we were busier than ever, but a lot of those jobs were business cleanouts.
Or grandma just died.
Yeah.
And I mean, we had a long-term client for like a year and a half. We would see every week because they had a home-based business, generated a lot of trash. And so every week we're out there, got along great with him, his staff, everything. And he moved. He upgraded to a really nice house. So we helped in that process, obviously. One day we'd come by to do our load, and literally the load could have fit, on a 2-person table. It was nothing. It was not what the load is supposed to be. Call, no answer. Next week we hadn't heard back, so we just went again. Nothing. And the wife calls and says, Matthew died. Completely randomly. I have some kind of accident. And so then we're there to help for that. I mean, I didn't go to the funeral because I wasn't in the loop in that quick of a time frame, but they had a 6-month memorial service. They were Catholic. So I went to that memorial mass and I was a part of that. And I was like, look, we've been through at the highest point and the lowest point with this family. And that's what it's about. It's about walking through with them and especially after Mr. Matthew died, there was nobody to help with the physical problems. And so we're like, we'll give them a respectable deal, like a good deal, but we'll also be the people they can count on. And what they need right now is stability. So let's just be stable. Let's be encouraging. And if they need something extra done, let's just freaking knock it out for them. Let's help them.
I will say
at that point, guys, it's not about discounting. It's about adding value. Because you have completely transcended the transaction.
Yeah. And for me, I work a lot with veterans, right? I know Andy does a lot with vets too. And down here, it's the South. So obviously a lot of people are pro-vets, pro-military. A lot of times they'll hire you just because you're a vet. And I would always tell them, like, hey, I don't want that to be the only reason you hired us. I want that to be a byproduct, of the values that we bring. But I also had to be careful because I was also the go-to for a lot of other people that were like, hey, I got this vet. He's in tough times. He really needs this. He needs help here. And I'm like, okay, well, I can offer him A, B, and C. But as far as like the biggest things like money or a place to stay, I can't offer him that. And we always had to, it happened a lot, unfortunately. So a lot of times it's like, hey, look, give me a call. I don't care if it's in my resale shop or not. If this dude needs furniture for his family, like, just tell me, we'll get it done. That kind of thing goes so far. But you also have to be careful because a lot of times when you hire people, especially you hire now, what gets to my heart, right, is a vet, especially if a vet with a story similar to mine, infantry grunt, got out after, 6, 7, 8 years, did this and then just crashed hard to a dark place. I can relate to that. So you have to be careful because I've hired a lot of those kind of people. And unfortunately, for the most part, I was the one who ended up getting hurt out of that relationship, right? Because in their mind, I was a means to an end or whatever, and it didn't lead always to the same outcome. So you kind of just have to be careful sometimes following that emotional, I guess you could say, ride. But for me, that's what it did for me was vets, man. Like that got to me to the point where I was like, shit, I got to be careful, man.
Well, the thing is being able to help people is not being able to say yes. Those are two different things.
Oh, yeah.
You have to be able to say yes to the things you can deliver on, but your yeses are only as good as your nos. Because when you say no to the things you can't do, it means people can actually trust your yes. And that's what it means to help people, is say, here's the targets I can always hit. And if there's anything I can do for you when it comes to these couple of targets, I'm your guy each and every time. And you can count the ball's never going to get dropped. And if it's something I can't deliver on, I'm just going to shoot it to you straight because I owe you that respect. I owe you that courtesy to do that.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, that's a solid emotional. See, we get all over the place. We went
that's
from
a quick 90 minutes
to hoot and hollering. But no, this is the beautiful thing about the podcast, right? We're here to let the conversations flow, surround ourselves with good players, like-hearted people, so that we get great, meaningful conversations that really the audience has the chance to listen in on, right? If you want to go next, or not when you want to go next level in life, you got to surround yourself with different people. You got to upgrade your network, right? And this is an opportunity for us to give freely our time and our resources so that collectively we step up the game here in the junk removal industry. It's a growing industry. Our goal is to make it more and more professional by giving the answers away for free. Let's go around the room real quick. Top takeaways from today. Casey, kicking off with you.
Top takeaways: track as much as you can when it comes to your business, whether it's numbers, whether it's people, customers, marketing, different trends, different people that could influence your business. Track it all, because I'm going to tell you right now, I have learned a lot from the people around me. And Andy, one thing I've learned from you is numbers don't lie, and you are a very big stickler on that. So tracking your numbers alone is a huge plus, and especially in this industry. Look, we've said this a lot. Junk removal is simple. It's not easy, but it's simple.
Yep.
So as long as you can take that and say, okay, well, what's the simple part of it? Okay, well, it's A, B, C, D, E, whatever. Then you're going to be fine. But tracking your numbers goes a long fucking way.
Taylor, top takeaway.
Well, I definitely am going to have to try out dessert cheese. As a man of larger stature, that's something I need to add to my tool belt. So that's good. I did find out that ricotta is what is in cannolis, which is technically cheese. So that's good.
Yeah.
But the other big thing I took away is I think the main meat of this conversation for me is really that focus on being able to take care of people, kind of where we landed. It's really, man, all the other stuff are just means to an end. The end is helping people.
No, I love that, and I will. I'll add to it. This is similar. So I'm in the Army Reserve still. I'm an Army Reserve career counselor, and often I'm talking to soldiers when they're at year 5, looking at year 6 and the end of their contract, and I ask them the same question almost every time: why did you join the Army? And now the reason why people join the Army, why they stay in, are different. I got 19 years in April this year. All of 19 years in, I can tell you. It's changed. In 19 years, why I stay in is significantly different than why I got in. And so that's my challenge to you, right? I really like what you said there, Taylor, right? I grew up in this. Since I was 5 years old, I've known in some way, shape, or form, I'm going to do this. I'm a 4th-generation entrepreneur. My great-grandfather owned a scrapyard. It's in my blood. I had to figure that out. And so this is my challenge to everybody. Look back at why did you get into it? Right? It might have been a tough time. Maybe you got laid off. I got back into it in 2009 because I got laid off from my father's company. And I took the opportunity to drive up and down the streets of Milwaukee and the alleys and pull appliances. And eventually I realized that people will pay me for this. And then it turned into a business. So look at why you got in and then look at why do you stay in? Because the challenge is, right, if you got in just to be transactional and make money, and that's the only reason you're staying in it, I'm going to challenge you. Find the good stuff. Build a career and build a life and build your business to be more professional. That's what we talk about here on the Trash Talk Business Podcast is bringing a level of professionalism, accountability, environmental standards to this otherwise industry that's been looked down upon since the turn of the century. 130, 140 years of being looked down upon. It's our opportunity now here in the Trash Talk Business Podcast to focus on the business, talk a little trash, and share our experiences so that we continue to build and evolve this amazing industry. As always, Casey, thank you. Taylor, thank you for your time from the great state of Georgia, the home of Chick-fil-A and Andy Weins. As always, I'm Andy Weins. I said my name twice in 30 seconds. Not weird. Signing off for the Trash Talk Business Podcast. We'll see you next week.